Wow. Justin, that's a name from the past. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Church Digital. I started to say podcast, but this is not a podcast. This is a live stream. This is where, to be honest, I'm going to probably say stuff more off script. I'm going to say things that I'll probably regret at some point, and you're more likely to get me saying something stupid that will go viral. So I'm actually recording this live stream at the same time because I'll go and put it on YouTube, but it's probably not going to go out on the podcast. But I am very excited to hang out with you guys. We've got a lot of, and gals, we've got a lot of some interesting things coming up. Like, I'm not a guy that really likes announcements, but oh my gosh, like the stuff that I've not been leaking that I want to leak and say is really, really exciting. And so there's going to be some really cool announcements. And there's been some cool stuff we've done that just have kind of like got thrown out there on a Friday afternoon when I know, okay, I want to get out before the weekend, because I've been wanting to say this for weeks and we haven't, like, it hasn't landed because it's Friday. You all are like checked out and moving on to other things. And so we're going to review some of this here on the Church Digital on the stream here on this Tuesday afternoon. I got flat cap, I got white beard, I got flat beard, I've got white cap. By the way, if you ever hear me say white beard or flat beard and white cap, that's because undiagnosed dyslexic. I mix up words all the time. And so Justin Nava, my friend from Houston, is on with us as well. Quang, flat cap, sharing the GIF right there. So good. Quang from the opposite side of the country, from Singapore, jumping on as well. And so everybody, hey, great for coming on. We'll probably have some more coming in and out throughout as well. But what story was I telling? Oh my gosh. Yeah. A guy reached out to me from, he's a digital planter in, oh my gosh, why can I not think of the country? It was Eastern Europe. Flat cap. Do you remember? I'm blanking on his name too. I won't say his name, but what country was the guy from? Recently from Eastern Europe. Hungary. Yeah. Thank you. He was from, Hungary. And and so jumped on this call with him. He's stateside in America on whatever it is, but he's a missionary over there and was wanting to focus on digital. And he mentioned he's staying with a guy in Arizona, or the church that is connected to in Arizona is the digital pastor knows me. Furlough, that's the word. Thank you. Is on but is somehow is connected to me or done something with me. And so the digital pastor is aware of me. I would say it's a casual relationship. I mean, we're not best friends or anything, but I've recognized the name. And the missionary said to the digital pastor, "Oh my gosh, I really want to get in touch with this guy, Jeff Reed." And he's like, "Do you know him? And do you think he would take time to talk with me?" And the digital pastor, who knew of me, said, "Okay, Jeff Reed's probably the most accessible person on the internet. He will certainly take time for you and reach out." And so, they're both of them are rolling around here on Discord, and it's true, man. Listen, I'll talk to anybody about anything, and so as a result, it's been really encouraging the past, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Like, the visioneering ideas that are out there right now, the people that are doing something different to reach someone different. I remember like 2019, I was getting booed off the stage. I was being told, "No, Jeff, it doesn't work that way." And now there's so many people that are, well, they're probably being told that, but they don't believe it. Like, there was a season of my life where I believed it and let it just beat me down. But now, I mean, they're out there creating metaverse ideas and virtual ideas and utilizing block and crypto and creating apps and discipleship movements and algorithms. And it's like we're done listening to people. We're done being told no. And instead, there's this wave of innovation of people that are actually wanting to hear yes, or wanting to at least prove yes. If the no happens, so yeah, let's learn from it and iterate and move on. Like, but it's not getting stuck on no because someone's saying no. And what's interesting is actually the organizational support, I do think is changing. Now, organizational support, I don't know that equals money. um, which will be a fun part of the conversation today. But I do see where organizations are excited about what's happening digitally, and are at least recognizing the digital mission field more today than ever before. I met a guy. This is excited. Yesterday, I met a guy. We were. I don't know if rated is the right word. Um, I'll go ahead and tell the story. Hey, Hector. We were. I mean, I guess rated, but we had maybe 5 or 6, maybe 8 different people kind of join us in one day from. I mean, some people might call them a competitor, but Meta Ministry, Meta, what do they actually call their deal? Meta Crusade. And so a Discord over there, a bunch of them came over. Evidently, they got connected to me through a friend here at TCD. A lot of people, honestly, I don't mean this egotistically, but they just didn't know I existed. And when they found out Jeff Reed and all the contacts and whatever, they were like, "Oh my gosh, we want to talk to you." And so, like, a bunch of them came over and hung out. And next thing you know, I'm on a face-to-face call with them and their leadership and some of the other stuff they're working on. And they're casting vision and telling me about, okay, rating is against the rules in Discord. They just jumped over to join us. Okay, that's fine. Rating's a negative term? Rating's a positive term in Twitch, but it's a negative term in Discord. Because rating, you want to raid in Twitch, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, that makes no sense to me. I'll come back to the Meta Crusade story. But it does not make sense to me how rating is positive in Twitch and negative in Discord, but it's both surrounding gaming culture. Oh yeah, rating is super fun. Like I've been part of some raids casually. There's a fun story about a raid that I was in Twitch, but I won't. Maybe I'll tell that story at some point. I really want to tell that story now, but I was in the middle of this other one. All right, so I'm gonna focus. So anyway, I'm talking to this guy who has shared Jesus over 750 times in virtual reality. Now I've got friends and I've known people that have done it over 2,000 times, and so that's nice. And I've known a guy who's done it 2,000 times in VR chat. But my new friend here, part of Meta Crusade, has done over seven. Actually, his organization has done it over 750 times, and I guess that's what I really liked about this guy. This guy was not alone in this idea. He cast vision to have others kind of go with him, and he was always training others to go on. It was like really mentoring, apprenticing, discipling others to kind of share their faith. And so organizationally, they've done it over 750 times. And he hadn't earmarked everybody to go into VR chat, which is common. VR chat needs Jesus, but instead, like he would talk about the different worlds and everybody would find their world. And so like he just had this vision to really help churches in general. Discipleship, evangelism. He's more of an evangelist, and then to funnel people into churches for discipleship. So he wanted to get connected to virtual reality churches, and they were like, "Hey, do you know any virtual reality churches?" And I was like, let me just get out my list here. Reference my book if you want to meet, everybody I know. And so that was kind of rude. I'm sorry, but it was a really fun conversation talking. I haven't talked much virtual reality lately, and so I've been letting Stu have all the fun there. Certainly fun catching up with that. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff happening with the Church Digital. I'm going to come back to my raid story. Somebody remind me later on when I'm like rambling. Just Jeff, shut up and tell the raid story. And so let's go over some of the stuff that's happening with the Church Digital. So we've got learning communities coming up where we're doing 5 different learning communities. An email went out today, I think. Excited about that. Barbara, I always know when Barbara sends the emails because my email inbox blows up with auto responders of people that are on vacation. And so I believe that went out today. And so we're doing 5 different learning communities. Speaking of Stu, Tsunami's doing one on virtual reality. Andy's doing one on virtual reality ministry. Andy's doing one on asynchronous community. Barbara Carnero is doing one on digital communications. Change that reply to. I hear you. But I like the 1 or 2 that I do get, Justin. Barbara Carnero is doing one on digital community and digital communications. Justin can tell you how awesome Barbara Carnero is at digital communications. He knows. Who am I missing? Megan Carter is doing. Megan Carter's doing one on mental health ministry, and I'm doing one on hybrid microsites. And so, 5 different concepts, 5 different ideas, 5 different ways churches like yours can experiment this summer. And so, this is a fundraising vehicle for the Church Digital, where this summer we're trying to raise some funds. Learning communities are 8 weeks long. They meet once a week, all online, and you have access to secret private spaces of the Church Digital Discord, which is awesome. And so, if you're interested in more information, thechurch.digital/LC. That's learning communities short, thechurch.digital/LC. That'll get you to that page. Fill out, get more information, and we'll be happy to reach back in touch with you. By the way, TCD Discord's going great. If you're not part of it, feel free to jump in. And obviously, you all are a part of it. But if you're watching on demand on YouTube and you're not experiencing the Church Digital on Discord, it's discord.thechurch.digital. Come hang out with us. It has been so much fun. I love Discord. I've publicly said that I was not against moving to Discord, but I felt the timing was not right. And I was outvoted in that meeting 4-1. And I listened to the smarter people around me and why they said do it. And so when everybody agreed yes, and I was the only no, we will move to Discord. And it is so much better. Like, I cannot even start to tell people how much better Discord is than Mighty Networks. For this audience, totally agree. To be honest, I even think that Discord is starting to lose its gamer feel. And as that starts to go, I think it's going to modernize, or normalize is probably a better word, a little bit. But that, I may be a little ahead of my time by saying that. So love Discord. One other thing we got coming up right here, we launched a merch store. Like, I am so excited about some of this stuff, but we've got some awesome merchandise that's now available online. And so I'm trying to type, because I didn't copy and paste the URL at the same time. I don't know if we've got a short code for that. But it's actually, you know what, if you go to theChurch.digital, it's under the hamburger merch shop, and you can go straight there. I want to hope we set up theChurch.digital/merch. I don't know that we actually did that. I feel like we will by the time this gets on YouTube. Let me check. theChurch.digital/merch. Not yet, but we'll get it set up. So, you're watching on YouTube, theChurch.digital/merch, or click the link in the Discord if you're hanging out here with me. But oh my gosh, some of the designs that the team's coming up with. I to be honest, I spent almost $100 buying stuff. I think I bought a couple hats. In Discord, as it is in heaven, like, if you've not looked at this design, it is so freaking cool. And so I love what the team's doing. And I've got like a scratch pad where I start to brainstorm on other signs. Yeah, Flat Cap, I saw your order came through. Oh, hey, Barbara. We were just talking about you. Yeah, I saw Flat Cap placed his order. I cheated. I looked. I saw Ian Ian Kirk bought some things too. And so go check it out. The merch shop, thechurch.digital. Actually, Barbara, as I'm talking to you, we need to set up a redirect for the merch shop. Thechurch.digital/merch redirects to thechurch.shop URL with the full URL. Or, of course, go to the website, thechurch.digital, and follow the link in the hamburger. Awesome. So, I'm so excited. I tell people, I knew, having done the Church Digital for 5 years, we needed to master communications. And we could not get the right people in the right seats at the right time. We tried to kind of build our own team, and it just didn't work. The best thing we did in 2024 is, hey, Barbara, would you consider coming and helping us? and seeing what Word Revolution has done. Like I'm not even flinching when I say that. Like it has been uh, freaking incredible. Whitebeard, I have no idea what you just said. But thank you, Barbara, for the church.digital/merch, which now works. That's how good she is. She literally just bangs that stuff out real quick. Barbara, by the way, it's currently 6:30 p.m. in Portugal, where Barbara is, and so we are now a multinational nonprofit organization with Barbara living in Europe. Oh, you're so excited, and I just can't hide it. I lose control. Okay, Whitebeard, thank you. I know there's purpose in everything you say. Just sometimes I can't keep up. So I appreciate the patience with the old man here talking. Hey, it's my 25th wedding anniversary today. 25 years ago, my wife was stupid enough to walk down the aisle and marry me. We got married at what was First Baptist Pride, now Christ Fellowship, Miami, Palmetto Bay campus. It was incredible. She was beautiful. I had actually, the long story short, I tried to convince her not to marry me maybe half a dozen times before the marriage. And she just stuck with it and said she still wanted to marry me. So we went ahead and got married. And 2 kids later, and we've owned more houses than we've owned cars in that 25 years. It has been a surreal experience. Fort Worth, Miami, Austin, Miami, multiple moves, multiple houses at each location. We used to, well, no, we still do, but it used to be Amy and Jeff versus the world. And so we kind of reminisce on some of the old days where we were just attacking things on all fronts. And so excited to see what's coming here very soon with that. More coming. We'll give some updates on Amy. It's funny. We were talking the other day, hey, Amy, what would you want to do with the Church Digital? Because like the Church Digital, that's always been my thing. And she's got her ministry. She's a school teacher. She just got a job at a Christian high school. So she was teaching elementary, and now she's teaching calculus AB, college level calculus. She's going from teaching elementary kids to calculus, which is fascinating. But that's my wife. My wife was faking it as an elementary school teacher. Okay. Hey, listen, we've got a lot of really fun stuff coming up here. I just want to tease this stuff out. Hey, Justin Nava, are you in here twice, or who's the other Justin? I don't want to be like, hey, Justin squared. What's the bit from Scrubs? JD number 1 and JD number 2. Hey, number 2. Hey, number 2. I just was binging Scrubs. I think I'm somewhere in season 3 right now. There's always another Justin. I feel that. There's always another Jeff. Oh my gosh, Jeff Reed, don't never Google me. Between winning the Super Bowl, winning the World Series, and doing stuff with kids that I probably shouldn't, which wasn't me, which is why you shouldn't Google me. Actually, I was applying for a job. This is maybe back in 2018. I was applying casually for some jobs. I knew I was doing the Church Digital, was just curious what the market was going to be. And somebody Googled me, and they were like, hey, can you explain this? And I was like, not really, because it's not me. That is not Jeff Reed, at least this Jeff Reed. I actually died on in Disney World. If you, it's interesting. I think I died in Disney World. I'm not sure. This is maybe going back to 2004. There were 2 different articles that published this story, 2 different names. One was Jeff Reed with a D. One was Jeff Reeb, Reeb, as in boy. But I had a heart attack on one of the rides at Disney World. And so one of the people that literally died on a theme park ride was Jeff Reed. All the stuff Google will tell you, man. I'm telling you, so good. Boy, you should lose weight size. I feel that. I do feel that. I am now a XL. I was a 2X. I'm wearing a 2X. All my clothes, you can see this is super baggy. I've lost 115 pounds since 2018, since I started the Church Digital. Justin, I've seen photos of you, bro, when you were, hey, Quang, thanks for stopping by. I've seen photos of you, man, when you were on your heavy side, Nava, and where you are now. Almost like I was going to go up to Tampa a couple weeks ago. I told Andy, I was like, hey, if I come up to Tampa, can you take some headshots of me? Um, because the headshot that we're using on the Church Digital was like, honestly, it was all the way back in 2015. And, it's goatee, it's not a beard. And I'm like 325 and I'm 211 right now, 210. And it's like, man, I don't even know who that guy is. My health is horrible, but oh man, my weight, it feels so good, man. It feels good to be this size. And I told my wife I wanted to get under 200. That's the goal. I was 185 when I started my senior year of high school. I was 225 when I graduated my senior year, and I kind of want to get back to 180, 190 would be awesome. So I started physical therapy yesterday. I'm a wreck. My my back has been in immense pain. Like you can't tell, but I'm like wedged in this chair, kind of holding on the arms and putting pressure on my lower back so it'll stay in the position that it's in, because in the position I'm in, it's good. Otherwise, I can't sit and I can't stand for more than like 15 minutes. Like it's just constant move, which is hard when you're a writer, because like it's been very difficult to write while I'm doing that. You know what, Sarah? Yeah, I'm willing to bet we can get some triple X's in there. I got all the way down. Hector, you're at 235, man. Oh, now back to 300. Yeah, so some work to do. Married, Hector, you've been married 2 years, 3 years? Married life will do that, man. 2 years. Yeah, very cool. All right. Hey, let me hit. So we got a bunch of fun stuff coming up here with the Church Digital. Tomorrow, I'm doing a podcast with Tom Pounder. We're doing a live podcast recording on here, episode 298. Tom's talking about how to hack YouTube. Now, I don't know that he's actually going to hack YouTube. And, I put that on Discord, and when I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, Google's going to like arrest me or something, hacking YouTube. But no, listen, there's some really awesome things that Tom's discovering about church YouTube. And so Tom's going to come on. We're going to talk about this. And so if you're an established church or you're a digital church planter, lots of really interesting things. Well, let's just say this: Google hates a lot of people right now because they let their SEO formula leak, and so if Tom's on the hate list of Google, the organization, which by the way says its motto is "Do no evil," there's a lot of people. Hey, Simon, there's a lot of people. Wes Brooks, we were talking about you earlier. There's a lot of people above Tom Pounder on Google's hit list today. I don't know. If it's funny. I agree with you, Justin Nava. I don't know if you all have looked at the information on the SEO leaks coming out of Google, but some really interesting stuff. And so take a look at that. I think Andy put a link to Verge in TCD's Discord this week. I don't know. I felt like I sent one earlier out, but maybe I didn't. From TechCrunch or somebody. I'll be right back. Yeah, I felt that too. Justin Nava just says real SEO nerds have known that for years. I don't know that it was a surprise, but it was things that I had assumed. Listen, the Church Digital, we were born. We got to where we are off of one, COVID helped, sincerely, and organic SEO. That's how I became the digital planter guy. Because it would be the Church Digital, it would be Digital Church Network, and it would be like 80% of the top 20 hits were me on other people's shows and stuff. Like it was just the Jeff Reed show. Now some other people are starting to come around, but it's good to be king, or at least it's good to be first towards that. And so I've enjoyed it. But Tom's coming on. You know why it's good to be first? I'll tell you why. Because we've got episode 300 of the Church Digital Podcast coming up next week. And oh my gosh, I don't know if you heard the Easter egg, but I did a tease on this with Stu Nami on his episode. I want to say it was 295, 296. We talked about, what we could do with 300 and what we dreamed about, for the most part, is happening. This is going to be so good, y'all. We've got the Alan Hirsch coming on the Church Digital. I don't know if you saw this. the Alan Hirsch, the father of modern movement, of modern church planting, the creator of APEST, is currently a member of TCD Discord. TCD freaking Discord, Alan Hirsch is in there. He's going to come into, and he's going to do a live podcast recording next week, Wednesday, I believe, here. Maybe it's Tuesday, a week from today, on the Church Digital Podcast. Now, Alan is in like Australia. And so it's 6 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be like midnight Hilmy time. Simon, I'm pretty sure that's 11 o'clock your time. But we've got Alan Hirsch coming on to do a podcast talking about planting digital churches. Now, it's not just Alan Hirsch, because I'm like, I've interviewed Alan before, and it's awesome. Not with the Church Digital Podcast. I had an interview with Leadership Network, and he's done some other work for us and other for me and some other channels. But I'm like, and I think this is actually Tsunami's idea. Stu's like, Jeff, what you should do is you should get Alan Hirsch, and then let Tsunami come on and talk about virtual reality, and then get like Dr. John Harris and let him come on talk about digital churches, and then get Susie to come on and talk about gaming churches. And we talked about creating this panel that's going to be, basically interviewing and asking questions of Alan freaking Hirsch, where Alan is going to get exposed to all these ideas. And we're going to do it in front of a live audience here on Discord. And it's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Listen, grab some coffee, get your dinner, sit down in front of the computer, put your camera up on a little stand. But it's going to be an incredible conversation as we get dirty here talking with Alan freaking Hirsch. By the way, I'm probably going to call him that on the podcast, because that's what I've been calling him offline for the past week since I booked this thing up. We got Alan freaking Hirsch to come on to celebrate episode 300 of the Church Digital Podcast. Like that, I was literally, it's like, I don't know how we're going to, what we're going to do for episode 300. And that's it. By the way, 299, this is funny because Alan's in Australia. Episode 299 is Steve Addison, who is another father of modern church planting and movement, and a strong voice in this space. So literally, and also from Australia. So back-to-back podcast. We've already recorded that one with J-Mo. We didn't do it on Discord. Sorry. I know some of you are disappointed. Steve Addison. I've got a sticky here on my book here. Steve Addison's, freaking incredible. This book, by the way, Acts and the Movements of God, really good. Check it out. I've heard him lecture on it twice. But Steve Addison, 299, Alan Hirsch, episode 300. We may shut down the Church Digital Podcast after episode 300, because I'm kidding. Like, I've already got seasons 8, 9, and 10 planned out for this year. Like, we're not stopping. But Steve Addison and Alan freaking Hirsch back to back. Like, somebody needs Alan or Simon's giving me a whoop whoop. He understands. Like, this is freaking incredible here on the Church Digital Podcast. All right. What else do I want to talk about? All right. Hey, let's go ahead and tease it. We're going to launch season 8. You know what? When I say tease this, I mean, all this right now is in the TC and Church Digital Discord in the events channel. So like, there's nothing I'm telling you here that you can't figure out yourself if you need to look at the TCD Discord. Like, there's 10 events registered there, including season 8 of the Church Digital Podcast. So a lot of you may know, and we just had Peyton Jones. I know, freaking incredible. Peyton Jones talking about virtual reality exclusive. It's, guys, the pendulum is shifting. Like, I don't know if you can feel it. Like, I'm feeling it. Yeah, I mean, we're always going to tick off the John MacArthur's. There are always people. We are disruptive. We have to upset people. Like, if we are not upsetting the standard quo, then we're not being true to who we are. The key is not to not be disruptive. The key is to be humble, to be appreciative, to be thankful, to be respectful in the disruption. I'm not going to come on this podcast with Alan freaking Hirsch and tell Alan freaking Hirsch, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. I'm going to learn from Alan freaking Hirsch. But I guarantee, because I know he's been that in past ways, he's been learning from us at the same time. And the same thing goes with Addison. I got to sit down with Steve Addison and have coffee with him, and oh, it's such an incredible time, dude. That man laid hands on me and prayed for my health, and it was in West Palm Beach, and it was earth shaking, like that moment inside, like it was something powerful just to be cared for at that level. Peyton, as well. Dave Ferguson. I can still remember the time when we had, it's maybe a couple years ago, but we had Dave when I was with New Thing, and we had maybe 15 planters come in from the Church Digital Church Network, and Dave freaking Ferguson is at that same level, guys. Dave came on and prayed a what's the word I'm looking for? Not ordination, like a sending prayer, like a not licensing, not ordination, but a what, somebody's going to help me, commissioning. Thank you, a commissioning prayer on Zoom over the 15 pastors and planters that were on this call. I mean, some of these guys are saying our own pastors don't respect us to the level that the people that we know, the people that we sit under their shepherding care Sunday mornings don't even care for us the level that Dave Ferguson is caring for us right now remotely. The pendulum is shifting. We don't need to ask forgiveness towards this, but let's show respect while we're, upsetting the apple cart, so to speak, on this. Hey, we are church. I feel like you just jumped on, just joined us here on TCD Discord today, man. Great to meet you. I would love to learn some of your story here in a little bit. Why don't you tell me a little bit about who you are? Just throw it there in chat. Hopefully you see that. It's the chat bubble in the upper right hand corner. So good. All right, season 8 of the Church Digital podcast. Thanks, Simon. Appreciate you stopping by. Season 8. We're launching a new show here with the Church Digital on the network, and it's going to be me co-hosting with my friend Joey Santos. Now, if you don't know Joey's an interesting guy. He's a former digital pastor at a mega church. Now, pre-COVID, maybe about 5 years ago, I believe, Joey started a ministry through his church, and he called it Church in a Bar. And so I did podcasts with him about this, but we did, the way you said new thing, is that DC Talk? That's okay. I'm going to stick with it is freaking DC Talk. Whitebeard just quoted DC Talk's new thing in chat. Oh, Whitebeard, you are so much fun. But Joey Santos started a Church in a Bar, a microsite that met in a bar. The members, the owners of the bar, were members of the church. I mean, guys, this is like a $10 million organization. Like, this is a big freaking bar in up when Joey lives up in Ohio, and they started doing church on Sunday. Now they called it, and I'm probably stealing Joey's story here, but they called it the name of the church, like a micro location would, or like a multi-site. And you know what? No people came. So instead, they called it Church in a Bar. They called it the church at the bar, and bar people started coming like crazy. Joey started coming around during business hours and started like pastoring and shepherding the staff, like attending staff meetings and kind of helping out. And this fascinating thing happened. The church grew, and Joey's responsibilities at the bar, where he was able to like care for and shepherd people, grew. And there was an interesting thing that happened, maybe a couple of years ago, I believe, with Joey. Joey quit his church job. Joey no longer works for the mega church. Instead, now he's the operations director at the bar. And something like 20% of his job is to run the church at a bar. Like, the bar literally pays him to run a church out of the bar. And as they're looking at doing more locations, they're basically charging Joey, we want a church at every bar location. And so last name is Santos, Santos. And so Joey and I'm happy to connect you, Justin, if you'll DM me on that. Joey's, I don't know that he's in this Discord yet, but he's not a Discord guy. I'm working on him. I'm guilting him slowly, but he's very strong digital. So Joey and I are launching a show. I'm excited about this called Wait, That's a Church. Between all the bar stuff and the really unique expressions of church, like I meet in a church building. That's awesome. Good for you. I do set up and tear down at a movie theater. Good for you. So do thousands or tens of thousands of other churches across the country. Um, I do church in a bar. I do church in a cigar bar. I do church in a strip club. Yeah, there's a strip club church. Like we want to talk to the crazies, and we want to talk to the people that think what the crazies are doing are good. And so that's what season 8's going to be. Wait, that's a church, abbreviated WTAC, because we love our abbreviations here with TCD. WTAC is gonna kick off season 8 right after episode 300, and Joey and I are already talking about turning that into a standalone show. And so we'll do season 8 with Wait, That's a Church. Season 9, I'm already like Megan Carter. Working with her is so much fun on the mental health cohort. And, especially in my current situation, mental health is very important to me. I mentioned, hey, JMO. Hey, JMO, thanks for jumping on. I know you're busy on work days. Um, but mental health is really important to me. I've mentioned before on streams and podcasts, I'm suffering from depression at some level. It's much better now than it was maybe 6 months ago, earlier this year. For me, whether it's medicine because of I swallow 20 pills a day because of my health, 21. I don't know if it's because of my health situation. I don't know if it's situational things that I've got going. Like, I don't know the cause of my depression, but to be honest, like I really couldn't figure it out. I was ignoring my depression and instead trying to diagnose why I was depressed. And the best thing that I did was, I'm depressed. Like I remember telling Andy and TCD leadership, and I remember talking about it publicly on here. It's like, guys, I'm struggling right now. Like even just taking the stigma off, saying that, like, oh my gosh, like 70% of the weight was just lifted off of acknowledgement. Mental health is so important, guys, especially in digital ministry. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you guys are in the front lines, remote conversation all day long, digital communities, not really interacting with people. It's hard. It's not healthy. How can we protect ourselves as digital ministers and digital pastors? How do we equip our volunteers to protect themselves? What's too far, and what accountability do we need to set in place? Like, how do we actually keep what we're doing healthy in ministry? Those are hard challenges, and this is some of what we're going to lean into with season 9 as we're digging into mental health capacities. And season 10, I'll get into season 10. I don't know that I'm going to leak season 10 today. We'll see. I may. It depends upon how the rest of the conversation goes today. But we got some exciting stuff coming up. Yeah, you know what? I've got a little script here on my. I've got some stickies I wrote up on the wall, and now that I'm in this conversation, I'm like, I don't know that I want to say that now. I may want to, if I leak everything right now, I don't know that there gives me much else to talk about. But I did want to talk about this because this is the thing that I've been really weighed down by in recent weeks, and the thing that I'm wanting to work on, like my 2024, is tackling fundraising for the church digital, and attached to that, I would even say beyond. Like and gosh, sometimes people speak in extremes and they say everybody and nobody, and they're overstating to prove a point. And that's actually in debate, overstating is a weakness, and it proves that you don't have a point. And so when people say everybody or when they say nobody, like I've been trained that, that doesn't mean anything. Like they're just making up crap right now because there's no way that it's everybody. It's not everybody. They just haven't done their homework. And so, like in debate or conversations, like I would, not that I'm formally trained debate, I just have known that over the years. Like I would actually call people out for using terms like everybody, nobody. That being said, every freaking buddy that is planting a digital church or is doing some sort of innovation in 2023, 2024, 2025, money's an issue. And I would even suggest it probably goes beyond that. I think the economy is shifting. I think that, to be honest, I have no idea where the money's going. Like, I don't want to get into a debate. And I'm not the politics guy, but like money's not readily available and it's not hitting churches. It's not hitting nonprofits. And especially as disruptive as we are, like it's very hard for, just from my side, it's been very hard to get churches to fund us like they would a normal church planting organization in many ways because physical churches are threatened by what we're doing, or they're more interested in us helping them digitally as opposed to funding the Church Digital's vision. And so, but when I talk with other planters, they're all in the same boat. You know, Jeff, we want to do this ministry, but we don't have funding. We want to develop this, but we don't know how to. You know, and like we've even been talking about how to shoot. I've taken, and I'm not ready to publicly talk about this job yet. Physical having similar struggles, exactly right, Flat Cap. But I'm not publicly announcing this job. I've even taken a job recently for the not for the sole purpose, but one of the purposes of it is it's going to enable me to offer jobs to digital pastors. And I've started accumulating is a good word, accumulating responsibilities that allow me the ability to farm out financial opportunities to bivocational people. You know, that word bivocational really is, I think that's the word for tomorrow. The more that we talk with planters and churches and church planting organizations and fundraising organizations, that bivocational word was like not spoken of 3-4 years ago in America. And today, 2024, it's prevalent. And the idea of bivocational, if you don't know, and there's co-vocational. A bivocational person is someone that has a 9-to-5 job, but that pays the bills, and then they do ministry outside of the 9-to-5 job. Co-vocational person is like what Joey does. You know, Justin's asking about Joey, where Joey got his 9-to-5 job at the bar where he does ministry. And so he's doing ministry, getting paid at the place that he's doing ministry at, but his ministry is outside of his responsibilities. Like there's another guy that a church planter just recently had a conversation with this guy. You know, maybe several years ago, he went co-vocational where he got a job at a bar, at a coffee house. He was a barista at a non-Starbucks barista. And so at a coffee house, and ended up eventually doing ministry out of the coffee house, and then eventually bought the coffee house. He actually bought and ran the coffee house as his co-vocational job. His money was made not doing ministry, but his job gave him the opportunity to do ministry in that space. And so that's really the difference between bivocational and co-vocational. But either one of those responsibilities, it's good to recognize that the church isn't funding. Like Joey doesn't have a nonprofit organization funding him. Joey has the responsibilities of, making sure the bar stays profitable. And that's what his responsibilities are as operations. You know, and keeping in line with that, I'll say, the Church Digital, this organization, this is a nonprofit. We're going to be in the coming weeks, even just had several meetings on it this week. Barbara, we're going to be launching several giving campaigns, large donors, grants off the discipleship, off the nonprofit aspect of the Church Digital. Like I've run money through the Church Digital for some consulting jobs, but that's been it. The rest of it has been all run into keeping the organization up and running. Um, even our contracts, people like Flat Cap, they're not employees. They're not definitely not full time. They're contract at best. JMO's a contract. Um, Andy, Barbara, these are all contract people. Tom, and we've got a lot more people, and they're contracted to lead, not to create. And so all our content creators, all our movement leaders, like these are all volunteers, and we're looking to really amplify the volunteer side, and we're looking to honestly, I want to crack the fundraising perspective this year. Um, One, to keep the church digital solvent, because we won't make it to the end of this year unless we turn the corner funding. And number two, I want to say this: we want to help build a formula for the digital church. We want to create a model and to provide resources and opportunities for digital churches and digital planters to learn to fundraise, to give them the tools and resources they need to make this happen. I'm trying to figure out how to say this non-egotistically. I'm making that my problem. I was sitting down with a friend today, having this conversation, and my friend said to me, "So Jeff, that's not your problem. Other people." It's like, yeah, I hear you, but it really is. Like, I want to make it my problem. Through the resources, through the connections, through the opportunities, and even I've started talking with outsiders outside of the church digital about the challenges. And this one guy got really excited when I started talking about helping digital churches and bivocational planters developing a funding strategy to work to help digital churches get funded to reach different people and to do different ministry than what the physical buildings are doing. Like, funding is a major part of that, and that's going to be a piece of the puzzle that the church digital, that we're going to tackle in 24 and beyond. Like, we're building this nonprofit in such a way so that we can. The church digital has always been bigger than me, and I built the church digital instead of jeffreed.com because I wanted this thing to be bigger. Jeffreed.com wasn't available, but I know that because see everything else I talked about. But I want this thing to be bigger. God's calling us. The world's bigger than Jeff Reed. The opportunities are bigger than Jeff Reed. Like, we've had. I mean, I don't know how many time zones have been on this call, but I can tell you we've had 3 continents and 5 countries represented by the people that have watched me live on Discord today. And dang it, let's empower those people to do ministry in their contexts, not just make it jeffreed.com global. Who the crap cares who jeffreed.com is? That's so uninteresting. But oh my gosh, I can empower Barbara to do something in Europe, and Simon to start a digital church planting network, and Quang in Philippines, literally on the opposite side of the world from me. Oh, that is so much more interesting than me just being a control freak at a global scale. I couldn't even tell you how that. All right, I'm looking at my notes here. I don't know that there's anything else I really want to talk about today. I hope this has been helpful. I'm looking at chat here. Any questions on chat as we're landing the plane? Tell the story. Okay. So the year is 2020 or 2021. Hey, King Dom, talking about our friends over at Meta Crusade. Got to hang out with King yesterday and to meet him and some of his team, and so really excited about some of the stuff they're doing and coming up, and we'll be talking with them more. And it's interesting, King. I was telling them, like, what I loved about your conversation yesterday, and how I think that we aligned on some things is King's doing some really interesting stuff in metaverse, and some app things, and they've got some really intriguing strategies that'll be rolling out soon. And we started the conversation. I mean, I don't remember how many people were in his Discord, but he came over and he hung out with us, and like he's talking about unity, he's talking about collaboration, he's talking about working together, and so like that approach in digital, oh my gosh, that works so well. It's the I want to build my playground for my people, and I don't collaborate and work well with others. I mean, that's so 2019, and I don't know that it makes sense much. Well, I tell you, the people that operate that, especially in tech space, the people that operate that way, I don't see them lasting long. Integration, I think, is a key point. All right, let me tell this story. King Dom, you're gonna love this. I was this is years 2020, 2021. Um, I don't want to say I'm relatively new to digital. I mean, that's not true, but I really had not spent much time on Twitch, and so I'm on Twitch, and I knew guys like Mark, Lutz, Lux Digital Church, God Squad, Susie. So there were a handful of people that I was really comfortable with on Twitch, but to say I was like hanging out with people or whatever, not really. And I was ended up watching I don't know something. I was watching this guy. Okay, this is back when what's the gaming place where you trade in the games, where people were all about the stock and they were doing rushes on the oh my gosh, what do you call the game place? GameStop. This is the week that the GameStop stuff was happening, where like people were buying the stock and then somebody would say go sell the stock when it was high, and then everybody would bolt, leaving people like stuck. Remember they did the same thing I think with AMC, where they would do the bull runs on it. And so because I was watching it happen on Twitch, where the guy had I don't remember who it was. There were thousands of followers of watching this Twitch guy saying buy, 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 and he literally had the computer up where they had the thing, and he's like, okay, everybody sell right now, and it tanked like in real freaking time, and they were laughing about it. And it was great, and I wasn't investing in anything. I'm like, I'm not going to jump into this, but it was funny because I was literally watching like the emotions of it from this guy. And at some point, watching this, he raids. He's like, hey, everybody, we're gonna go raid over here to this person, and he hands off to this girl. Now, I don't remember what I did. It's like 4 years ago, and I'm not really a Twitch guy, but I go hang out, I go whatever, and I start watching this girl. Now, I don't know anything about any of these people. These are cold call, whatever, cold engagement, and I'm watching this girl talk, and she's being very relational. She's sitting on a couch, kind of got her feet propped up, and just very relaxed. I was like, oh, this is nice, this is chill. I kind of like where this is going. I see this. And she starts talking about her life, and she starts talking about a surgery that she had recently, and a lot of people are like asking her what's going on, and she's not really giving details, assuming like the audience knows what's going on because she's so public talking about it. And somebody asked, is there a scar, and she's not showing the scar. She doesn't want to show the scar from the surgery, but she's like, you have to go to the website. I don't know anything about this girl. Long story short, get to the punchline. I ended up twitching a porn star. I watched a porn star on Twitch for about an hour, honest to God, before I realized she was a porn star. And not like an OnlyFans porn star, like a porn star. Um, and so, like, once I figured out what the crap was actually going on, true story, you can ask. I hung up immediately. I Discorded Mark and I said, okay, Pastor Mark Lutz at Lux Digital Church. Okay, Mark, I'm going to have to say this to somebody. I've had to confess this. I will tell my wife later on. And I did tell her later on. I was like, but I spent an hour watching a porn star on Twitch. He laughed at me and said, God forgives me of my sins, which is fine. But that's my raid story, where I raided myself into a porn star's Twitch. So if you raid, make sure you know where you're going, and that you want to go where you're going, or you're interested in going where you're going. So that'll be it. Hey, um, I've got a call. I'll give you a prayer request, and then I'm going to hang up. I've got a call in 5 minutes. I'm going to hang up this and I'm going to talk to a guy. There's an opportunity for the church digital. Hey, yeah, King Dom, thanks for sharing that. I would encourage you all, go hang out, go sign up over there and go meet um, some of the people at Meta Crusade. Some of the stuff they're doing is really cool, and I think it'd be a great opportunity for some of our friends. I know Whitebeard, I'm pretty sure Flat Cap, and there's some others of us that are already over there. But great opportunity in that space, to look at the metaverse as a mission field. Definitely start to explore that. Excited. I told the story about the guy who's sharing Jesus 750 times, is leading the team earlier, King Dom. We talked all about you earlier here on this stream. But my prayer request, and I'm going to hang up, is I've got a call. The Church Digital was asked to go to a global missions congress that's going to be in Korea later this year. And long story short, organizationally, we can't afford it. Like the cost of the multiple people flying to Korea, setting up the booth they want us to run, the hotel costs, like it would be beyond what I think that we could reasonably afford. And so I declined the offer to the missional organization, and the missional organization came back and said, Jeff, we see you declined the offer. We do not accept that answer. What would it take for you to actually come out here? And so I have a call right now coming up in about 4 minutes with a global organization about representing the church digital discipleship and digital church planting at a missional organization in Korea later this year. And like this is, I'm not going to tell the name of the organization. If you're smart, you can figure it out. But like this Congress only happens like once every 20 years. Like this is a big freaking deal globally. Um, if this does work out, I mean, either way, I'll tell the story because I love the heart of the organization for being willing to bend the rules for us to come out there. But it's still kind of wet cement. So we'll leak that and leave it as it is. But hey, we're gonna land a plane. This will hit up on YouTube at some point if you're watching it online. Thanks for coming on, and those of you that stuck with me for the hour or so here on Discord. Appreciate you being on. Tomorrow, check the event board here on Discord. Tomorrow, I'm doing that live podcast with Tom on YouTube hacking YouTube for your church. All right, everybody. See you later. Have a good one. Bye.